Hello everyone! So in this video, our topic will be partnership liquidation. So ito na yung pinakahuling topic under that topic partnership. So we are done with partnership formation, partnership operation, and in the previous video, partnership dissolution. So dito tayo sa liquidation. So actually, out of the four topics under partnership, ito yung pinaka-challenging sa lahat, right? So let's start. In the previous video, we have started with dissolution, right? So reiterate natin, dissolution is the change in the relationship of the partners caused by any partner ceasing to be associated in the carrying out of the business. So that's according to Article 1825. So it is the termination of the life of the existing partnership and may be followed by either formation of a new partnership called dissolution by change in ownership structure. So ito yung diniscuss natin sa previous video on dissolution. So in this video, we will discuss the second type of dissolution, that is liquidation. Dito na-dissolve pero may bagong partnership na na-create. Dito na-dissolve tapos na-stop na talaga yung operation. So liquidation is defined as the termination. So na-terminate na or na-stop na yung business activities carried on by the partnership and the winding up of the affairs preparatory to going out of the business. Right? So, there are various reasons why na-liquidate yung partnership or na-terminate yung operation. So, maybe the partners have accomplished the purpose for which the partnership have been created. So, na-meet na niya or na-accomplish na yung purpose niya. So, after that, so they decided to terminate the partnership. Or, pwede rin na upon organizing the partnership, nag-agree sila na 10 years lang tayo mag-operate. So, after 10 years, so they decided to liquidate. So, parang na-expire na yung period. Or, pwede din na yung reason is baka na-bankrupt yung partnership, that's why they decided to liquidate. Or, syempre, by mutual agreement by the partners. So, nag-agree yung mga partners na they have to stop or they have to terminate the partnership. And last, maybe by court decree. So, whatever reasons, again, ang role natin dito is to account for the partnership. So, actually, the liquidation process involves of the following. So ito yung procedure. First, non-cash assets are sold to generate cash. Kasi normally in a partnership, especially if ang reason ng liquidation is bankruptcy, the cash balance of the partnership, if not zero, is limited or konti lang yung cash nila. Tapos mayroon pang liabilities na babayarin. So that's why they need to generate cash out of their non-cash assets like inventory, properties, or land. So binebenta nila yung mga non-cash assets to generate additional cash. So upon realizing those assets or upon selling those assets, so gains and losses may be recognized, right? So alam naman natin paano computean yung gain or loss. So if the proceeds from the sale is greater than the book value of the asset sold, syempre, gain. If mas maliit yung natanggap mo kaysa sa book value ng binenta, of course, that would be loss. And how would you account for this gain and losses? Of course, these are distributed to the capital of the partners using their profit and loss ratio. So, pag gain on sale, add sa capital, then pag loss, minus sa capital. So, madali lang yan. So, once may enough cash na yung partnership, thereafter, liabilities will now be paid. Right? So, the partnership creditors shall be paid in accordance with the amount the partnership owed. Then last, if meron mang sobra na cash, that cash will be distributed to the partners. So, do you follow? So, basically, yan yung process ng liquidation. So, there are two types of liquidation. Lump sum and installment liquidation. In a lump sum liquidation, all of the non-cash assets of the partnership are sold simultaneously within a very short period of time, and any remaining the proceeds are then used to settle first all of the liabilities, so yung partnership creditors natin, and any remaining amount is paid to the partners under lump sum payment or one-time or single payment. Kaya tinawag siyang lump sum. So, one-time sale of the non-cash asset, then one-time distribution of any remaining cash to the partners. On the other hand, yung installment liquidation, it is a process whereby assets are realized on a piecemeal basis. So, meaning, tigi-tigi. So, hindi lahat ng non-cash assets ay binibenta. So, those assets are realized on a piecemeal basis or installment basis over an extended or longer period of time, and cash is distributed as it becomes available. Right? So, as I said earlier, piecemeal or tigi-tigi yung pagbenta ng non-cash assets. So, once may cash na generate from the sale, so liabilities again will be paid. And then, if may cash na available, and then that cash will be distributed to the partners so long as that cash is safe. So, in accounting for installment liquidation, there are two methods. We have schedule of safe payments and the cash priority program. The schedule of safe payments shows how much cash can be safely, kaya tinawag siyang safe payments, distributed to partners. So, this schedule reduces the possibility of premature payments to partners and reflects a conservative approach to liquidation by anticipating possible liabilities and expenses, including those expected to be incurred in the process of liquidation. So, di ba, pag installment liquidation, not all non-cash assets are sold. So, once may cash na generate, so, babayaran yung liabilities. So, however, if limited lang yung cash, possible na hindi mabayaran lahat ng liabilities. So, pwede ba na hindi bayaran lahat? So, of course, pwede. And then, pwede ba na mag-distribute ng cash kahit may outstanding liability pa? So, as a general rule, bawal mag-distribute ng cash basta may outstanding liability pa. Except if that cash that is going to be distributed is safe, meaning nag-withheld ka ng particular amount of cash for payment of future expenses, including the amount of unpaid liabilities. So, right? So, possible pa rin na mag-distribute ng cash, so even though there's still outstanding liability. Again, as long as that cash is safe. So, bakit siya safe? Because you withheld a certain amount for the possible liabilities and expenses in the future. So, yun yung sa schedule of safe payments. So, ang problema sa schedule of safe payments, kailangan mong makompute kung magkano yung cash na safe. So later, i-elaborate natin yan through our sample problem. The second method in accounting for installment liquidation is the cash priority program. So in this method, the partners can determine in advance as to whom cash will be distributed first. So, di ba dito, kailangan pang makuha kung magkano yung cash na safe to be distributed to partners. Sa cash priority program, so even though the non-cash assets are not yet sold, so kahit di pa na-compute yung cash available, alam mo na kung sino yung unang makakatanggap ng cash. Right? So, conceptually, sino ba yung dapat makaka-receive ng cash? So, cash is distributed first to partner who is the least vulnerable. So, ano ba yung least vulnerable? Or the partner who has the highest absorption capacity. So, we will discuss this later on our sample problem also. So, those are the two schedule of safe payments and cash priority program. Let's proceed to marshaling of assets. Marshaling of assets involves the orders of creditors' rights against the partnership assets and personal assets of the individual partners. So the order in which claims against the partnership assets will be marshaled is as follows. So paano ba i-distribute yung partnership assets? So yung first priority natin dapat is the partnership creditors. So dapat bayaran muna yung partnership creditors. Second, partners claims other than the capitals and profits. So ano ba yung mga claims? So such as loans payable and accrued interest payable on the said loan. So ano ba yung loans payable? 'Di ba? The partnership can loan from the partner. And on the other hand, a partner can also loan from the partnership. So in this case, si partnership ang may utang kay partner. Kaya tinawag siyang loans payable. So once mabayaran na yung creditors, ang next babayaran is yung loan ng partnership kay partner. Then last priority is the partner's claims to capitals and profits. So kung magkano yung balance ng capital nila, so actually, yun yung equivalent cash na marireceive ng partners. As long as that capital balance is positive. So again, as to partnership assets, ito yung priority natin. Partnership creditors, partners claims other than capitals and profits. Then last is the partners claim as to capitals and profits. As to personal assets naman, so meaning the individual assets of the partners, so it will be marshaled as follows. First, of course, bayaran muna yung personal creditor ni partner. So kung may sobra, so pwede yung excess will be used to pay the partnership creditors. So as to personal asset ng partner, hindi pwedeng unahin yung partnership creditors kaysa sa personal creditor ng partner. Dapat personal muna bago bayaran yung partnership creditors. Understood? Okay. Next will be the concept or the doctrine of right of offset. So ano ba tong right of offset? So simply, it is the offsetting of deficit in partner's capital. So ano ba tong deficit? Meaning, negative yung capital ni partner or debit balance yung capital account. Because, diba, yung normal balance ng capital is credit. So pag naka-debit balance yan, so that is called deficit. So yung right of offset, the partner can offset the loans payable if in case he will have a deficit. Because in substance, loans payable is added to the capital account of that partner. Right? So, yun yung concept ng right of offset. So, last theory before we apply these concepts to our problems will be accounting for a partner with a deficit capital. Diba, na-mention ko kanina, any gains or losses will be distributed to partners. And in most cases, nagkakalos yung mga partners in selling their assets. That's why nagkaka-deficit sila sa kanilang capital. So ano bang gagawin natin if a partner has a deficit capital? Mag-invest ba siya or i-absorb ba ng other partners? So before we decide whether to invest or to absorb, we need to consider first if that partner who has a deficit capital is solvent or insolvent. So anong ibig sabihin ng solvent? Meaning solvent, the partner has personal assets available in paying the partnership creditors. Meaning, after deducting or after paying the personal liabilities of that partner, if may excess pa sa assets niya, so that partner is solvent. Right? On the contrary, pag insolvent yung partner, meaning wala siyang available na personal assets. So wala siyang mai-invest in case magkaka-deficit siya. Okay, do you follow? So if the partner is solvent, the partner shall invest additional cash to bring his deficit to zero. So pag negative yung capital niya during the liquidation process, dapat mag-invest siya ng additional cash equal to the amount of deficit. However, there are some cases na though solvent si partner pero hindi enough yung personal assets niya para ma-cover up yung deficit. So anong gagawin? Like for example, yung deficit niya is 100 pero yung personal asset niya is 60 na lang. So may remaining pa na 40 deficit. So anong gagawin sa remaining 40? Since at this point insolvent na si partner, that amount will be absorbed by the remaining partners. So dito na i-absorb ng remaining partners ang deficit. Right? So ang question natin is who will absorb the amount of deficit? Kasi kadalasan dito nagkakamali yung mga students. Basta positive yung capital, siya lang yung mag-absorb. So ang rule is, ang mag-absorb is yung solvent partners and those partners with positive capital balances. So meaning, kahit na deficit rin si solvent partner, mag-absorb pa rin siya ng deficit of the other partner because of course he can still invest additional asset. And then if a partner is insolvent but still has a positive capital balance, so this partner will also absorb the amount of deficit. But ang ma-absorb lang niya is to the extent lang ng capital balance niya. Right? However, if the partner is insolvent or wala siyang personal assets, so automatic hindi siya makaka-invest ng additional cash. So the amount of deficit will be absorbed by the other partners. Again, the partners who will absorb will be the solvent partners and the partners with positive capital balance. And take note, the distribution of this deficit will be allocated using the residual profit or loss ratio. Like for example, si A, si B, and si C, yung profit or loss nila is 532, tapos deficit si A, so the amount of deficit will be allocated using this proportion, 3:2. So that is the residual profit or loss ratio. Okay? What if the problem is silent as to solvent or insolvent si partner na may deficit? Tapos walang given other information wherein makikita mo na may personal assets pa yung partner. So, using the conservative approach of accounting, that partner who has a deficit capital will be assumed insolvent. No? So, hindi naman tayo pwede mag-assume na may asset pa siya. Pero in fact, wala naman pala. Right? Sige, proceed tayo sa ating problem number 1. So, let's apply the concepts that we have discussed. So, in problem number 1, the following condensed balance sheet is presented for the partnership of D, E, and F who share profits and losses 5:3:2 respectively. So, my cash, then non-cash asset, my liabilities. So, my loan, meaning si partnership, may loan kay D, 10,000. Then, the partners agreed to liquidate the partnership after selling the other assets. So, if the other assets are sold for 280, how much will F receive? So, in this problem, lump sum liquidation because one time yung pagbenta ng non-cash assets, then one time din yung pag-distribute ng available cash. So, in answering this type of problem, class, so, no need na natin i-prepare yung formal na statement of liquidation. Diba? Yung tinuro sa basic accounting nyo na first column, cash, second column, other assets, equals, liabilities, then capital. So, yung first transaction will be the sale of assets. So, sa cash, add natin yung proceeds. Then, minus natin sa non-cash assets yung book value. So, in accounting for, or in answering for these problems, especially during quizzes or exams, so noted na to write the comprehensive format of statement of liquidation. What you need is a shortcut or a method or a formula na mas mapapadali yung pag-answer ng requirement. Right? But of course, as future accountants, you need to know how to prepare the statement of liquidation. Right? So, let's try to answer this problem number 1. Okay. So, in this video, I will teach you a shortcut para mas mapapadali natin pag-compute yung requirement. So, wag niyong sabihin sa mga classmates niyo na hindi nag-watch ng video natin, ha? So, sekreto lang natin to. Okay. Actually, itong formula na to is variation lang ng schedule of safe payments. So, in our formula, we write the name of the partners. Then, in the first row, ito yung interest. So, what do you mean by interest? So, yung interest ng each partner after considering the capital, the loans, the drawings. So, for this case, ang interest ni D is capital plus the amount of loan na 10,000. So, ang interest ni D will be 200. Okay? For E, 130. Then, for F, 90. Then, yung total interest nila will be 420. So, write natin yung interest from of each partners. Then, sa top ng each partner, sulat natin yung profit or loss ratio nila. Okay? So, I hope you know how to compute the interest. Ha? Kung may loan sa liabilities, so add siya sa capital ng partner. Pero if the D loan is presented in the asset section, so meaning the partnership has a receivable from D. So in the point of view of D, may bayarin siya kay partnership. That's why if dito nakalagay yung D loan, deduct siya to compute the interest. Ha? So some problems may present it loan payable to D or payable to D, then dito receivable from D. Ganyan. Okay? Then the next step will be we need to compute the CAFD or the cash available for distribution or the total amount of cash to be distributed to the partners. So how will we compute the cash available for distribution? Simply, magkano yung beginning cash natin, add natin yung proceeds from sale. So diba, ibibenta natin yung non-cash assets. So kung magkano yung price ng sale, so add natin dito. So ito yung proceeds. Then, less natin yung liquidation expenses. So, in case may expenses during the liquidation, of course, deduct natin sa cash balance. Then, of course, once may available cash na, so, babayaran na natin yung partnership creditors or the liabilities. Then, last, deduct natin kung may mga cash withheld or kung may cash na isa-set aside for future expenses or in case may unpaid liability pa. So, bakit may unpaid liability? So, the partners may decide not to pay all the liabilities but they want to distribute cash to partners. So, as I've said earlier, pwedeng mag-distribute ng cash kahit hindi pa bayad lahat ng liabilities as long as that cash is safe. So, para safe, mag-withhold ka ng cash equal to the amount of outstanding liability. Okay? So, once you account this, so makuha natin yung cash available for distribution. So, deduct to, deduct, then deduct ang cash withheld. So, don't forget the formula of cash available for distribution. There actually no need to memorize. So, just understand how we compute the net cash available for distribution. So, once nakuha mo na, so for this problem, magkano ba yung beginning natin? So, ang cash, di ba ito yung balance sheet before the liquidation. So, beginning cash natin will be 100. Then, magkano daw yung proceeds? Yung proceeds is 280,000. So, plus. May liquidation expenses ba na sinabi? Okay, wala. Liabilities? Of course, pag walang sinabi, bayaran natin lahat ng liabilities. May cash withheld ba? Wala. So, ang total cash to be distributed to partners will be 220. So, sulat natin ang 220 dito. So, first step, compute the interest of each partner. Second step, compute the cash available for distribution. Third step, compute the maximum loss, simply the difference between the total interest and the cash available for distribution. So, magkano yung difference? that would be 200. So 220 minus 420, 200. Then fourth step, distribute mo yung loss according to their profit and loss ratio. So times 50%, that would be 100. 30%, 60. 20%, 90. Okay? So do the math for each partner. 100. 130 minus 60. 70. Then dito, 40 pala to. 50. So check natin, 100 plus 70 plus 50 equals 220. And what is asked is the amount of cash received by F. So ito yung answer, 50,000. So actually, ang isulat mo lang is itong formula na to because cash available for distribution may be computed using your calculator only. So no need to write. So your only solution will be this one. Okay? So I hope naintindihan po yung tong formula. Again, first step, compute the total interest of each partner. Second step, compute the cash available for distribution. Next, the net loss. Then distribute the loss to each partner using the profit and loss ratio. Then compute the amount of cash received by each partner. So actually itong loss na to ng 200, it is the amount of lost from sale of non-cash asset, di ba? Yung process natin is 280, pero yung book value ng binenta natin is 280. So the difference is 200,000. So ito yung actual loss on realization or sale of non-cash asset. Okay? So very easy, right? Okay, try natin yung pangalawa. In the second situation, if the other assets daw are sold for 80,000 and all the partners are personally insolvent, so meaning walang partner na may personal asset pa, right? How much should E receive upon liquidation? So again, write natin yung name ng partners, then total. So copy lang natin kanina, 130, then 90, 420. Pero since mas maliit na yung proceeds from sale, so liliit din yung cash available for distribution. So using your calculator, so try daw without writing this formula, magkano yung total cash available na i-distribute natin. Because some partners, some problems may ask for the total cash to be distributed to the partners. So no need not to prepare the whole statement of liquidation to compute the total cash. So simply this one. So magkano yung total ma-distribute sa partners? Simply beginning cash 100 plus proceeds 80 minus liabilities na 160. Okay? So magkano yung natirang cash? May 20 pa na natira. Okay? So yung total cash distributed will be 20,000 or CAFD. So yung loss natin will be 400. Then next will be distribute. So times 50%, 200. Then 30%, 120. Then 20%, 80. Okay? So 0, 10, and 10. Total 20. So yung answer sa second question will be, how much should E receive? So the answer will be letter C, 10,000. Diba madali lang? So in this problem, wala pa tayong deficit. So we'll try deficit on the next problems. Okay? Using this formula, pwede din itong ma-apply in case the problem is, yung requirement ng problem is yung reconstruction, bitaw. Meaning, we need to squeeze a particular amount. So like for example, ibibigay yung amount received by partner, tapos yung i-ask is magkano yung total cash distributed. Or sometimes, i-ask nila yung proceeds from sale. So, of course, you can use this formula to work back the amount of proceeds. Okay, wanna try? Sige, let's try natin ha. For example, hindi given yung, assuming hindi given yung 80,000 na proceeds. So, ang given is, may na-receive na cash CF na 10,000. So, magkano daw yung proceeds from sale of non-cash assets? So, para makuha natin ang proceeds, so beginning, proceeds, liability, then cash available for distribution. Para makuha natin yung proceeds, dapat makuha natin yung cash available for distribution. So let's simply, let's apply the formula 200, 130, and 90. Since given naman to, so yung starting point natin is the amount cash received by the partner. I hope you are following me ha. In the previous problem, or in the previous requirement, yung given is the amount of proceeds. Ito, ang problem is, nag-start siya sa amount received by partner. So, we need to work back to compute the proceeds. So, let's try to check whether makukuha natin yung 80,000. So, mag-start tayo dito. So, simply, the difference between 10 and the interest of F, that would be 80,000. Then, ito yung meaning, itong 80,000, ito yung share ni F sa total loss. So, magkano ba yung total loss? Simply, divide it by the profit or loss ratio of F, which is 20%. So, 80 divided by 20%, that would be 400. So, once makuha mo na yung 400, makukuha mo na yung total cash na ma-distribute. So, meron na tayong 20 dito. Meron tayong given naman yung beginning cash. Given naman yung liability. So, we need to work back the amount of proceeds. So, simply, 20 plus 160 minus 80, that would be 80,000. So, just in case, the problem will require the amount of proceeds. Okay? So, I hope you understand this problem. So, you may try to pause the video and then try to answer lump sum liquidations in your textbooks. Okay, at this point, tapos na tayo sa lump sum liquidation. So, let's try to answer installment liquidation na problem. So, we proceed to problem number 2. So, the partners are JCT with 40, 50, and 10% profit or loss ratio. So, may assets dito, may liabilities and capital. So, the partnership will be liquidated in installments. So, as cash becomes available, it will be distributed to the partners. So, assuming daw, sa out of 360, 200 of the inventory is sold for 140. How much cash will be distributed to all partners? So, meaning total cash to be distributed to the partner. Diba, tinuro ko na yan kanina? Question, can we use the formula that we discussed earlier in installment liquidation? Of course, so we can use that for both lump sum and installment liquidation. But before we use the shortcut that I taught you earlier, let's try to use the cash priority program. Para ma-discuss ko na rin yung concept ng CPP. So, from the name itself, cash priority program, malalaman na natin even before the sale of the non-cash asset, so or even before any cash available will be derived or computed, alam na natin kung sino yung unang priority or sino yung unang makaka-receive ng cash. So, ito yung cash priority program. So, once matapos natin yung cash priority program na medyo mahaba, let's try to use the shortcut after this. Okay? If we still remember, the first step in the cash priority program is to, again, compute the interest of each partner, J, C, and T. Then, so when we say interest, again, consider mo yung mga loans, drawings, and the capital. For this case, wala tayong loans, walang drawing account. So, yung capital will be equal to their, yung interest nila will equal to their capital. 160, 45, and 55. Then, next step will be to divide their interest with their respective profit and loss ratio. So, the amount to be derived after this will be called the loss absorption capacity. So, magkano ba yung profit or loss nila? 40%, 50%, and 10%. So, 160 divided by 40, that would be 400. 45 divided by 50%, 90. 55 divided by 10%, that would be 550. So, ito yung respective loss absorption capacity. Ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng loss absorption capacity? So, you may proceed with the formula and how to compute the cash priority program, but sometimes we need to understand what do you mean by that particular amount. So, ano bang ibig sabihin ng loss absorption capacity? So, ito yung kayang ma-absorb na loss ni partner before that partner will incur a deficit capital. So, apparently, si T yung siya yung may pinakamataas na loss na ma-absorb. Right? Before magkaka-deficit siya. While si C, siya yung may pinakamaliit na loss absorption. So, once may loss, di ba yung, for example di ba in a normal liquidation, gains and losses on sale of assets will be added or deducted from the capital of the partners, right? Like for example, 160, 45, and 55. So, try natin si C. Yung capacity ni C is 90. What if, upon sale of the non-cash asset, nagka-loss sila ng 100? Okay? So, once i-distribute mo yung loss, 40, 50, and 10, ang share ni C dyan is 50,000. Right? So, nagka-deficit na siya ng 5. Bakit? Because his capacity is only 90. Since sumobra na sa 90, so magkaka-deficit na siya. So, the same with the other partners. Ang kayang ma-absorb ni J is 400. Ang kayang ma-absorb ni T is 550. Right? That's why, para fair sa partner na may pinakamataas na loss absorption capacity, para fair sa kanya, siya yung unang makaka-receive ng cash. Diba, sinabi ko kanina sa cash priority program, conceptually, cash is distributed first to partner who is least vulnerable or has the highest absorption capacity. So, based sa problem na to, si T yung may pinakamataas na absorption capacity. So, para fair sa kanya, siya yung unang bibigyan in case may available cash. Then, si T rin yung least vulnerable. Anong ibig sabihin ng least vulnerable? Syempre, siya yung last na magkaka-deficit because siya yung may highest absorption capacity. So, siya yung least vulnerable. Ang pinaka-vulnerable as to losses nila is si C. Right? Because 100 na loss pa lang, magkaka-deficit na siya ng 5. So, again, the partner who will receive cash first is the partner who has the highest absorption capacity or the least vulnerable partner. On the other hand, ang last makaka-receive ng cash is the partner who has the least absorption capacity or the most vulnerable partner. So, tandaan nyo yan ha. So, baka may lalabas dyan na query. Okay, let's continue. So, after you compute the loss absorption capacity of each partner, you need to bring their capacity into the lowest amount. So, from the highest to the next and then to the next, right? So, first step is to deduct 550 to 400. So, ang difference niyan is 150. So, ito na yung first priority natin. So, once i-deduct mo yung 150, equal na sila 400. So, you can try to compute the balance here. But, ang importante naman in preparing the cash purity program is the amount of difference, hindi yung balance. So, assuming na lang so, pareho na sila 400. Next step is to bring their 400 to 90. So, magkano bang difference ng 400 at 90? That would be 310 for both J and T. Okay? So, no need again to compute the balance. Ang importante yung amount of difference. Because the amount of difference will be multiplied by the respective profit or loss of each partner, 40, 50, and 10%. Okay? So, 150, yung first priority natin, 150 ni T times 10%, that would be 15,000. So, yung total natin is 15. So, ito yung first priority. Okay? Kaya tinawag siyang cash purity program. Any cash available, so if yung cash available natin is only 10,000, so lahat ng 10,000, ibibigay lahat kay T because ang first priority is 15 to T. Second priority, so for J, 310 times 40%, that would be 124, right? Then 110 ni T times 10%, that would be 31. Yung total nila is 155. Then once tapos na yung first and second, ang third step, kung may sobra pang cash dito, in accordance na to their profit or loss ratio. Okay? I hope you are following me. Magkano yung total ng dalawang to? 15 plus 155, ito is 170. So meaning, if yung cash available is 170, so that would be given to J and T only. So based on this illustration pa lang, alam mo na kung kailan makaka-receive si C. Makaka-receive lang ng cash si C if the total cash available for distribution will exceed 170,000. Again, the first 170 will be distributed to J and T. Okay? That's why I discussed this cash purity program because there are some problems that can only be answered using the concept of cash purity program. Okay? So, ito yung gagamitin natin in answering our problem number 2. Okay, balik tayo sa problem number 2. So, magkano daw yung available cash natin? So, dapat makompute pa rin yung total cash available for distribution. So ano ba yung formula? Ano yung formula? Diba? Beginning cash 50,000 plus proceeds 140, then liabilities 150, if my expenses minus, if my cash withheld minus 10. So far wala. So yung total cash to be distributed natin will be magkano ba to? 40,000. Okay, 40,000. So using the cash priority program, so first priority natin is 15,000. So ibigay lahat kay T since cash siya naman, right? So total 15. So magkano yung remaining cash to be distributed? So 40, nabigay na yung 15. So ang balance na lang is 25. So how will you distribute 25 to the partners? So of course, using the second priority. So ano yung second priority? Diba ito 1, 2, 4, 31. Pero yung balance natin is 25 lang. So how will we allocate that 25,000? Should we use profit or loss? Okay, wrong. So in allocating the 25, we will use the ratio of the second priority, which is this one. So how will we compute the ratio? Of course, i-fraction lang natin. 124 over 155, then 31 over 155. Okay? So yung marireceive ni J will be 25 times 124 divided by 155. That would be 20. Check natin. 124 divided by 155 times 25, 20. Then 40, 25 times 31 divided by 155. That would be 5,000. So yung marireceive nila, 20, 0, 20. A total of 40,000. Okay? So of course, pagtingin mo pa lang ng cash available for distribution na 40,000, alam mo na hindi makaka-receive ng cash si C. Because again, as sinabi ko kanina, makaka-receive lamang si C if the cash will exceed 170,000. Alright? So diba, medyo mahaba-haba ang solution pag cash priority program. How about we try the shortcut that I taught you earlier. Dito lang natin isulat J, C, and T. Ay, okay, dito lang. Okay, dito na lang. So let's write the interest of each partner. Diba, 160, 45, and 55, total of 260. Then their profit or loss ratio is 40, 50, and 10. Then yung cash available for distribution, na-compute na natin kanina, 40,000. Magkano yung loss? Yung difference, 220. Distribute the 220. So yung share ni J, 140. Yung share ni 88 pala, 88. Then share ni C, 110. Then share ni T, 22. Okay, yung balances nila after dito is for J, 72. For C, 65 negative. Then dito 33. Okay, so at this point nagka-deficit na si C because negative na yung capital balance niya. So anong sabi pag deficit? So, check nyo muna if the partner is solvent or insolvent. But, based on the problem, silent naman, di ba, if solvent or insolvent. So, pag silent, that partner will be considered insolvent. So, pag ano kung gagawin pag insolvent? This deficit will be absorbed by the remaining partners with positive capital balance. So, meaning, i-absorb ni J and T. So, in what proportion? Of course, using the residual profit or loss ratio. Itong 4:1. Right? So, 65 times, ano ba yung ratio nito? 4/5 and 1/5. Okay? So, proportion 4/5, then 1/5. So, don't forget ha, dapat residual profit and loss ratio. So, 65 times 4/5, that would be 52. Then ito, 1/5 times 65, 13. Okay, do the math. So, absorb na, 0 na to. Ito, 20. Dito, 20. Total, 40,000. So, yun lang. So, nakuha na natin yung answer using the shortcut. So, compared sa cash priority program, mas maikli yung solution natin. Okay? So, let me redirect your attention to this amount 220. So, di ba ito yung total loss. So, dito, considered na yung mga actual gains and losses on realization as well as total possible losses. So, saan magaling tong 220,000? So, aside from the difference between 40 and 260, so actually, itong 220 is the total of actual gain or loss. For this case, di ba loss yung result because book value 200 tapos yung proceeds is only 140. So yung loss on realization is 60,000, right? Then we also have a possible loss. So ano yung possible loss natin? Ito yung amount of unsold assets, which is 360 minus 200 na nabenta. So yung natira is 160,000. So a total of 220,000. So parehong yung loss. So yun yung component ng total loss natin. Okay? What if, so di ba ito yung normal computation pag liquidation, interest, cash available for distribution, total loss, distribute to each partner. Then if may deficit, so consider whether solvent or insolvent, and then go so on. What if same kanina sa problem number 1, what if reconstruct yung problem, meaning given yung amount of cash received by a partner, then yung question is how much is the total cash distributed. So can we still use this under installment liquidation? Of course we can use. So let's try JCT 160, 45 and 55, total 260, profit and loss 451. So assuming hindi natin alam yung total cash available for distribution, assuming yung given is the amount of cash received by T is 20. So assuming lang can we compute the 40,000? So let's start from here. So compute the difference. So ang difference nila is 35. Ito yung 35 is share ni T sa total loss. So para makuha mo yung total loss, divide by 10%, that would be 350. Okay? If you notice, if you add 350 to 260, that would be result to a negative amount, right? Hindi naman pwede na negative yung total, pero may na-receive na 20,000 CT. So if that will happen, you must continue or you must distribute the remaining loss to the partners. So 350 times J times 40,000 equals 140. Then 350 times 50%, that would be 175. Okay, so for J, 20, and for C, negative 130. So if yung total cash available yung inihingi, simply add the two positive amounts, which is 40,000. Because if you compute here, magkano yung difference, sum ng dalawa? Negative 90. But actually, para makuha mo yung 40 dito, minus mo yung deficit ni C, yung na 130 sa 350. So, 350 minus 130, yung actual loss talaga is 220. So, 260 minus 220, result pa rin yung 40,000. Okay? So, na-apply pa rin yung shortcut natin in this type of problem. Basta careful lang na if may ma-receive na cash si partner, hindi pwedeng negative yung total cash distributed. So, you can either just add the two positive capital para makuha yung total cash, or deduct the amount of deficit from the total loss. Then, you adjust mo yung loss natin from 350 to 220. Makuha mo yung 40,000. Okay? So, kaya pa ba? So, we still have 3 problems to go. So, let's proceed to problem number 3. So, for problem number 3, we still have the balance sheet. Pero, given yung mga personal assets and liabilities of each partner. So, let's try to know whether that partner is solvent or insolvent para magamit natin later sa liquidation. So, for A, yung excess asset niya is 75. Si B, wala. Then si C, negative. So, automatic, these two partners are insolvent. So, the only solvent partner is partner A. Assuming daw that the non-cash assets are sold for 40,000 and liquidation expenses of 13,500 are incurred and paid, magkano daw yung total cash na na-distribute to the partners and how much each partner received. So, same again, write the name of the partners, then the respective profit or loss ratio. So, for A, walang mga loans and drawings, di ba? For A, 5,000. For B, 15,000. Then C, 30,000. A total of 50,000 pesos. Okay? Magkano yung total cash natin? Simply, yung formula natin dito, beginning, that is 15,000. Proceeds, 40,000. Expenses, 13,500. Then, liabilities. Magkano yung liabilities natin? 75. Okay? So, magkano yung total cash na na-distribute? So, magkano? Of course, the answer is negative 33.5. Possible ba na negative yung cash na ma-distribute ng partners? Of course, hindi. Walang negative na cash. So, anong tawag pag negative yung cash available for distribution? So, take a look at this information. Diba? Beginning cash 15, proceeds 40. So, yung cash natin is 50,000, right? So, out sa 50, binayaran yung expenses na 13.5. So, yung natirang cash, 50 minus 13.5, may 36.5 pa na cash. So, out sa 75, ang nabayaran lang is 36.5. So, in this illustration, hindi lahat ng liabilities is nabayaran because kulang yung ating cash. That's why this amount here, instead na cash available for distribution, ang term natin dyan is unpaid liabilities. Okay? So, pag positive dito, cash available for distribution. Pag negative, unpaid liability. So, can we still use the shortcut? Of course. So, we simply write the amount of 33,500 pero negative. Okay? So, how much will be the difference here in order to derive the amount of 33,500? So, dapat 83,500. Distribute using the profit or loss ratio. That would be 83,500 times 0.35, 29,225, then 37,575, then 16,700. Then compute the balance of each partner. Negative 24,225, negative 22,575, and then 13,300. Oops! So, dito na, may dalawang partner na deficit. But, in our computation earlier, only partner A is solvent. Partners B and C are personally insolvent. So, at this point, you have two options. First, you may A may invest amounting of 24,000 to offset his deficit, right? Or pwede rin na, since insolvent si B, i-distribute niya yung, i-absorb yung deficit ni B by partners A and C. But for me, para mas madali, i-distribute ko muna yung deficit ng insolvent partner. Why? Because if we try to invest a 24,225, so magiging zero yung balance niya. Then, mag-absorb naman siya, so magka-negative naman siya, so invest na naman. So, para hindi masyadong mahaba yung solution natin, so let's try na lang absorb the deficit, or I can absorb the deficit of that partner to the remaining partners. So, how to absorb? Allocate it using the residual profit and loss ratio. Since ang mag-absorb is, sino nga ba ang dapat mag-absorb? The solvent partner. So, even though deficit rin siya, pero solvent siya, so, mag-absorb pa rin siya ng deficit. And then, although si C is insolvent, pero positive ang iyang capital balance, so, mag-absorb pa rin siya ng deficit ni B. So, silang dalawa ang mag-absorb. So, yung share ni A, magkano? So, paano ba i-allocate to? 22,575 times 35 over 55. So, paano ba kinuha yung 55? Simply, add mo yung 35 and 20. ito yung residual profit and loss ratio. So 35 and 20, that would be 55, 55. Ganyan. So multiply mo sa ratio, ang share ni A will be 14, 3, 6, 6. So medyo may decimal, so round off natin to nearest peso. So 0 na to. Then yung share naman ni C will be 22575 times 20 over 55. That would be 808,209. Okay? So yung balances nila will be for C5091, then for A, so mas lumaki yung deficit niya to 38,591. So ano yung next step? So since deficit is A, pero si A is solvent. So anong gagawin pag solvent yung partner? Simply invest additional cash equivalent to his deficit. So since malaki pa yung balance niya, 75, so he can cover up all of his deficit, 591. So 0 na to, 0 dito. Then since nag-invest siya ng additional cash, so madagdagan yung available cash natin by 38,591. So di ba na-compute natin kanina, may outstanding liability pa tayo na 33,500. Pero yung additional cash investment by A is 38, so mas malaki. So may sobra pa na 5,091. So saan pupunta itong 5,091? Of course, sa partner na may positive capital balance pa, which is partner C. So ito yung answer. So total cash distributed to the partners will be 5,091, yung amount received by partner C. Okay? Then total received by each partner will be 0, 0, and 5,091. So for this problem, ang point niya lang is pwedeng magka-negative dito sa cash available for distribution, pero ang tawag is unpaid liability. Then nireview rin yung concept ng deficit. Dapat alam mo how to account for the deficit. Okay? So proceed tayo sa problem number 4. So sa problem number 4, if you noticed, so instead na naka-formal balance sheet yung mga accounts, so naka-paragraph form. So para mas mahirapan yung mga estudyante. So ang requirement is magkano daw yung cash balance after payment of liabilities to outsiders. So sa formula natin, beginning plus proceeds minus liability equals cash available for distribution. So ang tanong is magkano daw ang cash balance after payment of liabilities. So simply, yung tanong is the total cash distributed to the partners. So same pa rin, sulat natin yung mga name ng partners A, B, and D. So yung capital nila is for A, may drawing account, si D may drawing, may credit balance, C, B loan, A capital, and so on. So dito may drawing, tapos may capital account, then may loans din. So to compute the difference, we must account for these drawings and loans. So start tayo dito sa capital ni A, B, and D respectively. So si A 307,500, si B 251,250, then si D 270,000. Okay? So first, si A may drawing account. So pag drawing, of course, deduct yan sa capital balance ni A. Si D may drawing din, so minus 22,500. Okay? Then sa credit balance, B loan. So anong gagawin sa loan? Plus minus kay B. Since naka-credit balance siya, so add mo yung loan sa capital ni B, 75,000. Pag naka-debit balance yung loan, meaning receivable from B yun. So pag receivable from B, minus sa capital. But ito, naka-credit balance, meaning payable to B. So sa point of view ni B, may ma-receive pa siya na 75,000. That's why, i-increase yung interest niya sa partnership. So, compute lang natin. So, makuha natin yung interest ng each partner. So, for A, 247,500. For B, 326,250. Then, for D, 247,500. Then, add mo lang, yung total interest nila will be 828,700. 821,250. Okay? So, using our formula, magkano yung cash available for distribution natin? Okay, hindi pala given. So, ano yung given? Given yung total assets na 1 million, kasama na yung cash beginning na 131,250. So, ang beginning cash natin, 131,250. So, are you following me? Ano pa yung ibang given? The partnership was liquidated and D received. So, hindi ito yung normal procedure ng liquidation, right? So, yung given is cash received by each partner. So, ito yung example ng reconstruction wherein given na yung amount received by the partner, then need natin i-work back para makuha natin yung requirement. So, si D daw, so dito sa amount, dito sa part na to, naka-receive siya ng 208,125. Okay? How much daw yung total liabilities paid? Magkano daw yung na-receive ni A? Then, how much was the proceeds? So, ang daming requirement, right? So, let's start from here. Compute the difference. So, the difference is 39,375. 208,125 minus 247,500. So, 39,375. So, ito yung share ni D sa total loss. Divide mo lang sa ratio niya, which is 5, 3, and 2. So, divide 20%. Yung total loss is 196,875. So, add mo sa total interest. So, ang total cash distributed to partners pala is 624,375. So, ito yung total loss. Distribute mo sa lahat ng partners. 875 times 50%, that would be 98,437.5. Then for B, 196,875 times 0.30. So, 5,059,062.5. So, ang na-receive ni B will be 326,250 minus 59062.5. So, 267,187.5. Then, yung na-receive ni A, 247,500 minus 98,437.5. So, 149,062.5. So, check natin kung total ba siya 2,624. So, plus 267,187.5 plus 208,125. So, sakto yung answer natin, 624,375. Okay? So, since nakuha na natin yung total cash, so we can also, we can start computing the requirement here. So, ito, 624,375. Kaso dalawa yung wala, proceeds and liabilities. So how can we compute the liabilities? Simply, yung ano ba yung equation ng mga accountancy students, di ba? Asset is equal to liabilities plus capital, right? So if you notice, given yung total assets na 1,196,250, right? Then yung total interest natin is 821,250. So after considering those drawings and loans, ito yung net capital nila or interest, right? So simply work back, magkano yung liability? So liability natin is 375,000. So don't forget to remember the accounting equation. So ito yung lifeblood natin as accountancy students. So yung liabilities natin is 375,000. So makukompute na natin yung proceeds. So 624 plus 375 minus 131,250. Our answer would be 868,125. So yun lang. So in this problem, although workback siya, pero hindi nagka-negative yung total cash distribution. So walang problema compared sa example natin sa problem 1 and 2. Okay? So last problem. Paragraph form pa rin. So after a long dispute, A, B, and C decided to liquidate. Their total interest were as follows. So total assets include cash 500 and receivable from A 100 and an cash asset na hindi even. So given yung liabilities. Tapos si partnership may utang pa kay C amounting to 80,000. So at the end of liquidation, B received 300,000. So how much were the non-cash assets sold? So another example of reconstruction. So given yung amount received by B, so need natin i-recompute yung proceeds. So basic formula natin, interest, capital nila is 1,500, 1,800, and 1,120 with a profit or loss 25, 40, and 35. Okay? So, sabi dito, may receivable from A. So, pag receivable from A, si A, may babayaran pa kay partnership. So, minus 100,000 para makuha yung interest. And then, given din na partnership may utang kay C. So sa point of view ni C, may ma-receive pa siya na 80,000. So add sa interest niya. So the interest of each partner will be 1,400, 1,800, and 1,200. A total of 44,000. So once makompute natin yung interest, we can use the formula. So sino yung naka-receive? Si B daw naka-receive ng 300. So difference yung share niya sa loss na 1,500. So para makuha yung total loss, divide by 40%, yung total loss natin is 3,750. Okay? Then if we try to compute the share of the other partners, so for A, 937.5, for C, 1,312.5. Okay? So for A, 462.5. However, for C, balance niya is 112,500. Then yung total dito is, if you try to compute, that would be 650, right? But take note, si A at si B, ang total na receive nila is 762.5. Pero 650 yung total dito sa dalawang amount. So what should we do? So take note ha, pag di ba itong problem na to is reconstruction, meaning we start from the share of a particular partner, then we work back. So if we got a deficit partner, no need na to distribute that or to absorb that deficit to the other partners, because again ito is net na ng mga if in case may mga absorption of deficit. So pag ganito, pag work back, pag may mga negative, i-adjust natin sa ating total loss. Okay? So yung total loss natin is hindi 3,750. So instead, deduct natin yung 112 dyan. So yung actual loss lang natin is 3,750 minus 112.5. It's only 3,637.5. So ito yung actual loss natin. So 44 minus 367.5, so yung total distributed is 762.5. Dapat ito equal sa na-receive ni A and B. Okay? Basta always remember na pag work back, no need na to distribute the deficit. Pero pag normal liquidation wherein interest plus total cash is i-distribute sa partner pag may deficit, so yun i-absorb ng other partners. Pero dito, nag-work back tayo. Okay? So the total cash distributed is 762.5. But that is not what is asked in the problem. Yung requirement is the proceeds, right? So simply, since ito yung amount ng total cash available for distribution, we can derive the amount of proceeds, right? Okay, so based on our formula, so given yung beginning cash natin, magkano yung beginning? 500,000. Total cash 762,500. Liabilities, binigay ba yung liabilities? Okay, nandito 1,280,000. So simply work back 762,500 plus 1,280 minus 500. Yung proceeds natin is 1,542,500. Letter A. Syempre, kung 650 yung ginamit mo, so yung answer mo will be 1,430, letter D. So pag yan yung ginamit mo, mali yung sagot mo. Okay? So I think that's it for this topic, partnership liquidation. So na-cover na natin yung lahat ng topics under partnership. So from formation, operation, dissolution, and liquidation. So to end this video, let me give you this quote. Huwag kang tamarin sa pag-aaral. Isipin mo na lang yung nagpapaaral sa'yo. Hindi sila tinatamad magtrabaho makapagtapos ka lang. So yun lang po. God bless and keep safe. Bye!